Hi everyone, hope you all are doing well. Welcome to Navy Officer Candidate OAR Online Test Prep Lesson Series. As we can see, in today's lesson, we are going through part 2 of our Maths Review program. In this entire lesson, we will go over 12 different problems, and all of these are going to be on different topics, which means that if you do need help, if you do need to jot down any formula that we are going to go through over this entire lesson, you can bring out a notebook or a pen and paper and then jot them down. At the same time, in this entire video, because all these 12 problems are completely different from one another, what you can do is you can take your own test. You can actually pause the video when I show you each question, and then you can try to do the math on your own. Once again, replay the video and see whether you have gotten all of the answers correct. Do let us know if you do get them correct, okay? If you want more math resources like this, make sure to practice more on our OAR Tutoring app. You can download it from our Apple App Store or Google Play Store. It has over 2,000 successful candidates. You can also request for one-on-one tutoring. We have a lot of model test questions here, so you can get a lot of practice materials for yourself. And at the same time, in our app, you can have a personalized program where you can have a prediction test. So in that case, our prediction test will properly guide you through the entire thing, and it can actually predict what you are going to get if you do appear for the exam on your own. Without any further ado, let's get ahead with the video. Let's look at problem number 1. Rod smokes 1.5 packs of cigarettes per day. Rod buys cigarettes by the carton. There are 10 packs of cigarettes in each carton. If Rod pays $35.80 per carton, how much does it cost him for each day of smoking? So as you can see here in the very first question, what we see here is Rod smokes 1.5 packs. And the question says that he actually pays $35.8 per carton, which means that first of all, we need to know how much does 1 pack of cigarette cost, right? So for 1 pack of cigarettes, what we do is, because the entire carton costs $35.8, and in each carton, there are 10 packs. As you can see, if I divide it as so, the answer is going to be 3.58, right? And that's going to be the cost of 1 pack of cigarettes. However, he doesn't smoke a pack, he smokes 1.5 packs. 1.5 packs actually means 1.5. So this means that his total cost for the entire thing is going to be 1.5 times 3.58. And if you do the math, it's going to be $5.37, $5.37, okay? So the correct answer for this is going to be option number A. Hope you got the first one correctly. Let's move on. Let's look at problem number 2. Stan bought a monster truck for $2,000 down and payments of $450 a month for 5 years. All right. So you see, first of all, what Stan did is he has this $2,000 already, okay? So this $2,000 is fixed. He must pay this as a total cost. But in addition, for 5 years, for 5 years in total, for each of the months, so how many months does a year have? 12, right? So for 5 years, he's going to have 5 times 12 months, right? So for each of the months, how much does he pay? He pays $450, okay? Now let's do the math very easily. So 5 times 12 is 60. So 60 times 450. So because we don't get to use a calculator, what we can do is we can do 45 times 6 and then just put the zeros. So 45 times 6 is what? 6 5s are 30, carry the 3. 6 4s are 24, plus 3 is 27, my bad. So that's 270, and then we have 2 more zeros here. So that's 2,000 plus 270, and then again a 0 and a 0, right? So that's 27,000 added to 2,000, which means that the correct answer to this is 29,000. Hope you got this one right as well. Let's move on to problem number 3. Okay. Anna earns $450 from her part-time job. Her federal income tax withholdings are dash, dash, dash. Let's just put it in that way. How much was her paycheck? So to understand her paycheck, what we need to do is we need to know how much she's earning minus all of her withholdings, right? As in, we need to put all of the incomes minus all of the expenses. So let's first find out how much are her total withholdings, okay? So we have what? We have 34.5. Then we have 8.65 and we have 15.35, all right? First of all, we need to add all three of them up, okay? So to do that, what we do is, first of all, we line it like this. 5 and 5 is going to be 10. Carry the 1. 5 and 1 is 6. 6 and 6 is 12. 12 and 3 is 13, 14, 15, carry the 1, 4 and 1 is 5, 5 and 5, 10, 10 and 8 is 18, carry the 1, 3 and 1 is 4, 4 and 1 is 5. So as we can see, the total withholdings is $58.50, all right? However, what's her paycheck? Her paycheck is going to be how much she has earned, 450 minus 58.50. See, when we do additions and subtractions with decimals, this is something that you do need to put in mind, is that we need to put all the decimals onto the same regard, because 450 doesn't have a decimal or anything. We need to put the decimal point right next to the entire math. So if I do the math here, if I take this as 100, it's going to be most definitely 50 here. And then if I bring everything else down, it's going to be 391. So as you can see, the answer is once again option number B. Okay? So with that being said, let's move on to problem number 4. To reach his tree house, Raymond must climb 9-hole 1 over 3 feet up a rope ladder, then 8-hole 5 and 6 feet up the tree trunk. So Raymond needs to climb something and then climb something else. So there's like 2 phases of Raymond climbing, right? So my question says, how much has he climbed altogether? This means that all we need to do is we need to just add these 2 fractions up. To do that, first of all, we need to convert this to an improper fraction. How do we do that? We do 9 times 3, which is 27, and then we do a plus 1, so 28. Then we do 8 times 6, which is 48. 48 plus 5 is 49, 50, 51, 52, 53. All right. Then what? We need to put the denominators in the same format, which means that we need to times 2 with this, which means we again do times 2 with this. All right. And then 53 over 6. Now, 28 times 2 is 54. 3 times 2 is 6. And then we have a 53 over here. So now it means that 6 and 6 are going to be 6, as you can see. And the 54 and the 53 added up to each other. 28 times 2 is 56. So 56 and a 53 added up to each other is 109. But as you can see, our answer needs to be in middle term fraction. So which means that to do that, we need to put it in this format. 6 over 1 is 6. That's 49. 6 8s are 48. This means that it's 18, 1 over 6. So my correct answer is option number C, 18, 1 and 6 feet. Okay? So that is problem number 4. Let's look at problem number 5. Ms. Brianna spends 1/4 of her salary on house rent and 5/8 of the remainder on other monthly costs. What fraction of her income can she save? First of all, she spends 1/4 of her salary on her house rent and the remainder, 5/8 of the remainder, not the entire thing. So what we need to know is we need to put the remainder first. The remainder after 1/4 is 3/4, right? So on top of the 3/4, she is doing other monthly costs on top of the 3/4. So that's 5/8 times 3/4, okay? So if you do that, that's just plain simple. 5 times 3, 15, and 8 times 4, 32. Now, the question says, what fraction of her income can she save? Because she's spending 1/4 of her salary here and 15 and 32 here, let's now add up the total. What's the total cost? The total is the 1/4, the salary that she already did, and also additionally the 15 over 32. So to do this, we need to put the denominators in the same format, which means that 4 is going to have 8 multiplied to it. And in the next step, 8 4s are 32. It's 8 over here. So I'll continue here. Putting the 32 in the bottom. It's going to be 8 and 15 added up over here. 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. So that's 23 over 32 here. However, the question says, what income can she save? We know because we're working with fractions here, even if we work with probabilities, the total of anything is always 1, okay? So if the total income is 1, and she has spent 23 and 32 of it, this means that we need to now write 1 as 32 over 32 and this as 23 over 32, which means it's going to be 32 here and it's going to be 32 minus 23 on top, and that is 9 over 32, okay? So the correct answer to this is 9 over 32. Hope this clears it out. Let's now move on to problem number 6. 30,000 fans attended a football match on the first day of a football tournament. On the second day, 3 times as many as the first day bought tickets. All right. So, first of all, 30,000 fans attended on the first day. And on the second day, 3 times, right? So, let's now figure out how many tickets were bought on the second day, all right? So, on the second day, 3 times as many as what? As many as 30,000 fans tickets were bought, which means that there were 90,000 tickets that were being bought on the second day, right? But 2 by 5 of them canceled their tickets. So how many did they actually cancel? So let's figure out how many canceled their tickets. That's 2 by 5 of 90,000, right? So if I do 2 by 5 of 90,000, that's 2 times 18,000, which is 36,000. But the question says, how many are attending on the second day? If all of them canceled, but 90,000 tickets were bought, but 36,000 of them canceled, so that's basically 90 minus 36, which is 54. And then just put the zeros, okay? Plain and simple, got it? So the answer to this is going to be option number D. We're halfway done, by the way. Let's now move on to problem number 7. James planted 150 seeds, 90 sprouted. What percent of the seeds failed to sprout? All right. So first of all, let's figure out how many failed to sprout, okay? Because there were 150 seeds and 90 sprouted. 150 minus 90, which is 60, are the ones that failed to sprout. What's the percentage of the ones that fail to sprout? So for any percentage-based math, the question, whatever the question says, is going to be the numerator. So fail to sprout is going to be the numerator. And the denominator is always going to be the total number. So total number here is 150 seeds. So it's going to be 150 in the bottom. And then we are going to multiply it to 100. And just put the percentage sign as it is. Don't put it in your calculations, by the way. It's just going to be there because we need to find out the percentage, right? And now we can do basic math. We can cut the zeros. We can simplify 15 and 60. We can simplify it with 3 times 5, 3 times 20, 5 and 4, 4 times 10, which is 40%. So my correct answer to this is option B, which is, sorry for the sound, option B, which is 40%. Okay? So that is problem number 7. Let's now move on to problem number 8. The price of salmon at a fish market is $5.40 per pound. This is 150% of the cost at a supermarket. All right. So first of all, the price of a salmon is 5.4, and 5.4 is 150% of the cost. So let the cost be X, okay? So we can put a statement in this way, can we not, right? So 150% is what? 150% is 150 over 100, and then there's going to be an X here, equals 5.40. Now we can do basic cross multiplication. If I put the 100 on the other side, so multiplying 5.40 with 100 is 540. And if I put 150 here, it's going to be divided by 150, okay? Now if you do this basic math, it's going to be 3.6. As we can see, the option B, 3.6, is the correct answer, okay? Let's now look at problem number 9. Debbie receives a weekly salary of 80 plus a 5% commission on any sales. During the week, she has had $800 in total sales. Was the ratio of her commission to her salary? Commission to her salary, which means that commission needs to be on top, salary needs to be on the bottom. All right, so let's figure out the commission first. She is getting a 5% commission. So 5% of what? Of the total sales, which is 800. So if I do this basic math, it's going to be 5 over 100 and 800. So cutting the zeros gives me 5 and 8, which is 40. So $40 is her commission. But what's her salary? Her weekly salary is 80. So if I want to do this very basic math, it's going to be 40 over her salary, which is 80. So cut the zeros and simplify it. That gives me 1 over 2, or 1:2, which means that the correct answer here is option B. We have 3 more to go. So let's look at problem number 10. Convert 314,000 to scientific notation. For any sort of scientific notation, what we do here is, first of all, we put the first digit, the decimal goes right next to the digit, and then everything goes as it is. So we have what? 314,000, right? We don't see a decimal here, but we know if we don't see a decimal here, that doesn't mean it doesn't exist. It does exist on the very end of the entire number, okay? So what I said is, in scientific notation, the decimal needs to go right next to the first digit. So how many numbers did we cross? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we crossed 5 boxes or 5 numbers ahead, right? Which means that the correct form is 3.14. We don't need to write the zeros anymore because those don't have any value. But the answer is going to be 10 to the power 5. 5 units to the left is 10 to the power plus 5. To the right, it would have been minus 5, okay? So option A is the correct answer. We have 2 more to go, guys. Let's look at problem number 11. Calculate the value of this expression. Okay. On first glance, this looks quite easy. This is quite easy, but what a lot of people don't understand is we forget a very basic PEMDAS. I hope you do remember this expression. PEMDAS, we've learned about it in school, right? So first of all, for PEMDAS, what we do is we break the parentheses. So you see, we can do 15 plus 6, first of all, which is 21, divided by 7 times. Let's now do 18 over 9, and that's 2 cubed minus 10, okay? Now, what we do is we need to do division first, okay? So 21 divided by 7 is 3. 3 times, we can also do this 2 cubed thing because this is technically multiplication. So that's 8. And now 8 times 3 is 24. So 24 minus 10 is 14. So the correct answer is 14. You see, if you properly, get the hang of all of the math, you can actually take a couple of seconds to do each. See, you might not even take a minute. Let's now move on to problem number 12. Okay, this is a quite interesting question. In how many ways can 4 aircrafts be arranged? This is a simple grammar error. 4 aircrafts can be arranged if they fly side by side. Okay, so this is a matter of factorial. So are you introduced to factorial, by the way? Factorial means we need to write a, and then we put a, let's say it's a to the power n, so then n minus 1, n minus 2, till we go to the very end. So because it's 4 aircrafts and we are saying how many ways it can be arranged, it's a matter of permutation, okay? So for 4 factorial, the formula is we need to put 4 first, then we put the number that goes right, before it, that's 3. then we put 2, then we put 1, and no number essentially goes after 1. If we multiply this with 0, the entire thing gets 0, right? So we don't put 0. We're gonna do it till 1. So 4 times 3 is 12. 12 times 2 is 24. So the correct answer to this is 24. With that being said, we're done with all 12 problems. And now let's see, if you do want to practice more, make sure you do download our OAR tutoring app from Apple App Store or Google Play Store. We have 2,000 plus successful candidates, just as we said before. And at the same time, you can also request for one-on-one tutoring services, totally personalized according to your needs. We also have a prediction test here, and we have plenty of materials and math resources, which are most definitely going to help you for your upcoming exam. Best of luck with your exam. Thank you so much for watching this video.